Java, First Form, Part 2. Okay, let's continue to add some controls to our form. So what we're going to do is go up here to our palette. We're going to add another text field. We'll add that right here. We'll go ahead and we'll make him the same size. I can actually set that here in properties. We'll go ahead and make it the same size as 10. We'll go ahead and we'll clear the contents out of the text field. We'll add a tooltip. Please add a number. We will go ahead and we will change the name to JText field number 2. Let's add a few labels. So we'll do a label here. We'll do a label here. We'll put a label here in which we'll put the answer to our calculation. Basically, we'll start off with adding two numbers. Let's go ahead and label this one right here. So we're underneath code, JLabel, answer. We'll go ahead and set the text property of that. Now I want to point something out here. You'll notice I didn't touch these two right here and right here. What I'm going to do is set this via code because I want to point out to you that anything that we can set here we can also set via code. So I will show you an example here how we're actually going to set the values for those labels here when we set up the form, and we'll do it via code. Let's add a button. So we'll go ahead and we'll add a button. We'll call it calculate. Let's change the name of it here. JButton calculate. So this is our goal here. We're going to be able to enter a number here in the first text field, enter a number in the second text field, hit the calculate button, and have it show the sum here under answer. And then we'll also, when the form is created, set the value of these two labels. So this one we set via the properties. Here we're going to set via the code. So now let's just double click on calculate. Now that's taken us to a function here called button calculate action perform. So it's actually looking for that click event. Now I like writing things in functions. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write a nice little function. Private void add to let's declare a couple variables here. Double num1, double num2, answer equal to 0. Now we're going to take the contents of the first text field and put it into num1. So we're going to do num1 is equal to so we're going to pull up text field number 1 dot, and we're going to get the text. Now you notice that our get text right here, that's a string. Okay, and what we need to do is make it a double. So we need to deal with that. So what we're going to do here is call up double. We want the other double here, dot value of, and did you notice that asks for a string? I'll show it here a little quicker here on the next step here. We'll get the value of, there we go. So we'll do the same thing here for num2. double dot, see here, value of, it's going to be looking for a string, jtext, we're going to pick our text field number 2, dot, we're going to get the text, and you notice here, right here, it's going to return a string. Okay, now we'll do our calculation. Answer is equal to num1 plus num2 and now we're going to take that answer and put it into our answer label. So we're going to do, here's our answer label, dot, now we're going to set the text. Okay, so it's asking for a string here. So we're going to set the text. Now we're going to do the very same thing here. We're going to do string dot value of the answer. And that's going to put the answer into that answer label. So we set some variables. We set some variables here. We pulled the values out of the two text fields, which were strings, converted them to a double, so they matched here, added them up, and now we're going to take that answer, okay, flip it back to a string so we can put it back into the label, which needed to be a string. So that's our function. Now where do we need to put it? So we're going to put it under the button performed action. So we're going to put that right here. We're going to call our function add to. Okay. So now we're dealing with the two text fields, putting a number in them, hitting calculate, and returning the answer back into here. Now let's do one more thing here. Let's go ahead and set the values for JLabel1 and JLabel2. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here under our JFrame1, okay, and after we initialize the component, here I've got some text in here where we're actually going to set JLabel1, set text to number 1, and I will go ahead and I will code the one for JLabel2. By the way, I'm doing control space to bring that up. It's a shortcut here to allow you to bring that up very quickly. And if it doesn't pop, build your project. So we're going to set the text to number 2. Okay, now that should have all our components in. So let's go ahead and run this. So we'll come over here and we'll run our form. Let me bring it down here so we can see it. So I'll go ahead and put in 100 here, 150, and we hit calculate, and we now have 250. Did you also notice right here and here we actually set those at the time the form was created? So that ends this session here for part 2, and we're going to flush this out a little bit here where we can then add some radio buttons over here and pick some different functions to allow us to perform different calculations over here. So that's coming up in part 3.